Hello. I am Dr. Pamela, and I am so excited because tonight, live and in person, well, almost in person, I'm in a virtual in person with these lovely ladies, are three awardees of the Purpose Awards, the first annual Purpose Awards. I'm so excited to be here with you ladies, and you all are blessed beyond blessed because these wonderful warrior women are going to be talking to you tonight. So you're not going to hear much from me, but you're going to hear a whole lot of something from these powerful ladies. So let me just share really quick about the Purpose Awards. At the end of December, end of November, beginning of December, it was just stirring on my heart to honor people in my life that have really made incredible impact for the kingdom of God and just made impact in the earth, like they left their trademark, so to say. And I knew that that was not me just kind of coming up with it, that this was something that was divine, that it was heaven sent. And so I got in a place where, you know how we do this, we get still and know, and just listened to that still small voice inside of me. And he spoke the names of these wonderful people and shared with me the title for their award. So I'm just going to like leave it at that, with except I'm going to say this one more thing. You are here on purpose, with a purpose, by design, not by default. And these ladies here tonight are embodying that statement and have more than earned an award called a Purpose Award. So with that, I'm excited. I want to welcome all of these beautiful queens with me. Dr. Deborah, Dr. Lisa, my sweet sister Delasber. Oh my gosh, welcome ladies. And are you ready to rock and roll with me? Should we get going? Yay! All right, bring up, please, Lady Nicole. Everybody say hello to Nicole. She's in the background. Hello, Nicole. Lady Nicole, would you please bring up my sweet friend, Dr. Apostle Deborah? Let's see her beautiful picture. If it'll pop up. There it is. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at that woman. You just look at her and you think power, don't you? You just like, woo, like power. And that is my friend, Deborah. And so Apostle Deborah, Dr. Deborah, when I was thinking about you, or your name was dropped in my heart, it was so obvious that you deserved this. I mean, the name Emerging Business was not something that I came up with. It was a name that was just dropped in my heart. And when that just kind of bubbled up within me, all I could remember was the time we were together and I saw you on that jet. And that's your story to tell, but I'll leave it just about right there. But you were on the jet and you were throwing your books out the door of the jet. Now, this jet was flying. She'll tell you the story if that's what she wants to do. But you know that a jet flying in the air, if you had the door open, you would get sucked out the door, right? You wouldn't be able to stay standing in the doorway. So this had to be a symbolic vision or dream for her. And I saw these books going global, and that her business with publishing was going to be huge, and that she was going to be a jet setter, a trend setter, and that there were going to be many that were going to follow in her footsteps. And so here we are today with you, my dear friend. You and I have worked together as visionaries. You are an established author in your own right, and now a coach and a speaker and every other incredible thing, pastor's wife, all the stuff that you do. And as if you needed something else to do, you took on this position to begin a publishing company, and you have done incredible books, including a book for Les Brown. So I am excited to have you here. Please come on up and take your liberty, share all about your book and your publishing, and anything else that is on your heart. Ready, set, And pretty soon you're going to be here and I'm going to be there. We go. So take it away.
I am so excited to be here with all these fabulous women who are doing great things. And I must say, this is when I got the email and I got the award, I was like, oh, and I was like, okay. And 2022 was a year definitely of emerging for us. Many books that we've done in 2022, even when you look behind me, I look at the greatness in you. I look at Women of Power, Ignited to Serve. I think about Coach Doctors, our elite workbook, and so many things that we have done. So, Igniting the Flame Publishing actually launched on last year. I am Deborah Allen. I am a author, coach, speaker, and publisher. And so I believe now I have about 18 books. And so when I think about igniting the flame, God kind of walked me to publishing. I was doing anthologies that Les Brown forwarded. My first big one was 21 authors. Then I dropped down to 17. And as I have been writing, God kind of step us to places. Being a part of the inner circle with none other than a connector, John Tellerico, and being with Les Brown, and our coaching with him, it just seemed natural to step to publishing. I am so honored that from March until today, I believe we have published about 15 books in less than 1 year. And 90% of those books are anthologies. Well, I would say our average amount of authors, we have about 25, because we can rock at 22, 32, 39. And so publishing has just been a gift. I believe that speaking is a tool in our hand. What else can I say about being able to write, use our voices? It has allowed me to platform some amazing people. It has allowed us to just go global. I must admit that the vision that God gave while I was thinking about launching Igniting the Flame Publishing, the airplane and the doors opening, the books going and being thrown all over the world. Publishing Greatness in You with Les and John. What can we say about that? That's definitely a global, but we had global authors. We had people that were just huge everywhere. And so I'm excited. I really believe that we have to be in the posture to hear God. I believe that we are in the season that what God is throwing us into places that we may feel like I'm not quite ready for, but we are there. And I think it's a season that God is allowing us to reinvent ourselves. I believe it's a season where we're able to step into who we really are and just rock, to be able to boss up and be great as you were born to be. And so I'm just excited about that. Igniting the flame where your words come to life. And it is a unique platform that I built it because I'm an author. And a lot of times when you think about publishers, a lot of the publishers that publish, they don't write. But I happen to be an author and a publisher. My publishing company really is based on the needs of authors. And I think that's my niche in the publishing. I understood that when I began writing, that we didn't have stages, that we didn't have doors and platforms, and we didn't learn how to make bestseller and international bestseller. And so I have been able to come into this space and give authors what they need to be able to write, to be able to have doors, opportunities, networking, stages, and make bestseller. Dr. Pamela, some of our collaborations have been like Women of Power, Ignited to Serve. That book was bestseller in 36 categories. I believe we made bestseller in like 8, number one in 8 categories in like 5 countries. I'm just saying. So we have been able to rock on a big level, but it does have a lot 32 women. That was such a, I don't know. When I think about 2022, when I look at 2023, I still believe that I am in awe. When you look at the Emerging Business Award, we have emerged, but we have made some noise. But I love the fact that I have been allowed to come to stages and bring women with me, not just women, because greatness in you definitely have men. We got the legendary Les Brown, the connector himself, John Tellerico. We had David Archer, and he's the Lieutenant Governor of the Virgin Islands. We had men in film, the NFL. We got coaches, TV, all kind of media, social media giants. It has been skyrocketed. And I love the fact that God is teaching us how to be great and to work with people. And so as we are launching and as we are moving forward, I believe you're going to be uncomfortable. I believe, but it's okay. I really believe that God has stepped you to where you need to be and that you can do it. I believe that it will take hard work to get anything done in our life. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take sacrifice, and it's going to take focus. I am so grateful that the tribe that God has risen up around me, the people that has been able to come beside me and run with me and help me. Thinking of people that has forwarded some of our books. I just can't even imagine some of the people that have forwarded my book. You look at Sherry Kennedy, come on, an all-time huge coach, did coach doctors. I look at Les Brown has forwarded my books. John Tellerico has forwarded my books. Dr. Kishma George. We have so many people right now. I'm currently in a new anthology, and the world first woman of color, Mrs. Universe for 2022 is forwarded that anthology that's dropping in April. And just so much has happened as we have written, but it has made us understand to use what was in our hands to understand who we are and to rock it. And so that's all I have to say. Igniting the Flame Publishing has lit a fire in me. I believe that writing has truly reinvented me. It was a tool that has been used to birth my voice and take it to the nations. I am forever grateful for the tribe, for the team, for everybody that has rocked with us during these last few years. Thank you, guys.
Apostle Deborah. Oh, my sweet friend, it is such a treasure and a treat to run alongside of your vision. And it has been so fun to just watch you soar. And I know there's so much more that is to come. Apostle Dr. Deborah and I have worked together in many projects.
Yes.
And you actually have one that you're not talking about. So I'm going to like poke you here and say, come on. So you've got a book that you're going to be that we're doing right now, and I'm a featured author in it, and that ends with a conference. But you also have a new author call out there that ends in a retreat. So plug those.
My event for April, Igniting the Millionaire. Meet us right here in St. Louis, Missouri, April 14th and 15th. We will be doing a book launch, a conference, Igniting the Millionaire. This will be a supernatural impartation. We have speakers coming in. Dr. Pamela Hinkle will be here in April. She is one of our speakers for that Saturday. And so we will have conference. I am dropping my perfume line in April, as well as but the conference is the big thing of it. We will be dropping a billboard as well for this event, and we will do a live launch in St. Louis, April 14th, 15th. We do have hotel rooms set aside. It is a small investment. Early bird is only $30. We didn't charge a lot because we want people to come. We don't want money to be an issue. I am doing an anthology for pastor wives. If you're a pastor wife, a bishop wife, an apostle wife, I am all those things. We are bringing women. We got a spot like 15 women only, but we want to work with the women of God. We want them to be refreshed and renewed and restored, to come in and take the mask off and heal so that we can run like we need to again in ministry. And that is like August 4th and 5th. But the launch for that is the face and mantle of a pastor's wife. And so I am rocking business and ministry at the same time. But Dr. Pamela, that's what we do. We get to rock everything that we are.
Yes, and you do it like a boss. Yes, you are the boss. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Deborah.
you so much for the award. I was shocked to get it. I was like, oh, but thank you so much. What an honor to have people that you work with acknowledge the work that you do. And I really believe that is a humbling fact, and it is a great fact. And so thank you again. Thank you, ladies, that's all here getting awards. You know, we have ridden together. We have rocked together on so many levels. And it has been, you will not be great by yourself.
Amen. Do that. Thank you so much, Deborah. And you're so worthy, Apostle, of this award. Thank you. I am going to pull up another doctor. So let's pull up Dr. Lisa Yvette Jones. Look at that beauty queen. Look at that queen. Woo! So now I'm going to talk for just a minute about the Rocky Award. Okay. Because I've had a couple people say, what's that? Well, this is, she's got her hands up. Do you see that? Can you hear the theme song? Da-na-na, da-na-na, right, right. So, Dr. Lisa, you have been such an inspiration to me personally, and it just never ends with you. You are like the ever ready bunny. You just keep going. And there have been so many times where you have even been through some of the health battles that you have faced, where you could have not shown up on a call. You could have not shown up at a conference. And if you did, you could have been off camera and nobody would have judged you for that. That would have been all just absolutely fine. But where are you? No, no, no. You're showing up on camera. You got your lashes and your lipstick on. You are looking gorgeous and beautiful. And if a person didn't know that you were in the hospital at that moment, they wouldn't have known, because you just took care of all of that, and you looked like you were in your office. And I can remember 2 or 3 different occasions being in different Zoom room meetings that you were in attendance with, and you had reached out to myself and others about prayer, and I knew that you were in pain, and I knew that you were at the hospital, and I knew you were getting treatment, and yet you showed up with your best face on and gave your all. And I've told you so many times that you remind me of Joel Osteen's mom, Jody Osteen, because when her body was under attack and her doctors had said, forget about it, just go home and prepare, she said, I'm not going to go home and prepare. And one of the things that she did every day was she got out of bed, no matter how difficult it was, and put on her lipstick and her lashes and made herself feel confident and good by the way that she looked. But on top of that, you have this go-give spirit, Dr. Lisa. That other stuff I said was enough, but there's more to you. You are always putting somebody else first. Well, that's Rocky-ish as well, because he was always looking out for somebody else and always finding somebody that he could train up and always looking for that person he could pass the baton to. And that is also you. And you're always ready in due season. And that's very Rocky-ish as well, because when you came down to speak at my conference, you came in and you were having computer challenges and you didn't have your notes. there would have been a lot of people that would have froze up and wouldn't have known how to pull on the power of God, or would have been too afraid to do that, or wouldn't have just been able to trust the process and go, you know what? I don't have notes and it's for a reason. And I'm just going to get up there and I'm just going to go with the flow and see where the flow takes me. And you did that at the conference with such ease and such power and such anointing, and the word in due season came just up and out of you. And then on top of all of that, your leadership, you raise up other Rockies. You teach people how to be, I'm going to use a word here that we've never used. We've used this word before, but never in this terminology. You teach people how to be a Rockefeller, okay? A Rocky, a feller. You teach them how to be that with your iC.A.R.E leadership. To me, you are all that supersized. You are the Rocky Award supersized, and you deserve to be recognized not just as a leader, but as the quality person and the perseverance of faith that you have, and how you blaze a trail for so many of us. So Dr. Lisa, come on up here.
Wow. I was like, who is that she's talking about? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Dr. Pamela. You give so much value to others. I was on a call today with John Maxwell because today is National Leadership Day. And of course, John Maxwell will share his birthday and today, National Leadership Day. And one of the things that he said he was born to do was add value. And I said, there's another person who was born to add value. And that is you, Dr. Pamela Hinkle, because you truly understand what it means to value and love on others. So thank you so very much. I always love hearing Dr. Deborah. Let me tell you, I said, I could sit here and listen to her all night. Her energy is so amazing. Thank you for coming before me, giving me an example of what to do next, okay? I am Lisa Yvette Jones. I am your chief encouragement, inspirational, and empowerment coach, counselor, consultant, best-selling author, international speaker. I am mother. I am daughter. I am friend. I am niece. I am Gma to my God grandchildren. I am mama, ma to my son. I am friend. I am foe. Listen, there are times when, things don't always go as they plan, and I may not be the person for you, but that's okay. I'm all of that wrapped into this woman, this vessel of God. And let me tell you, it is powerful to be able to take what God has given you and share it with others. The other day I received a phone call, actually not a phone call, but a message. And this person I'd never known. And they said, I've been following you. I've been following you, and I need to speak with you because now I have been diagnosed with cancer. And your story inspires me so much that I just need to talk to you. The urgency in this person's voice was almost like the woman who had to just touch the hem of Jesus' garment. And I'm not comparing myself with Jesus at all, but what I am doing is saying that the power that he has given us to share our testimonies so that others can overcome through them is what we have. And that is so important. That's why I told her, I cannot wait to celebrate you coming through this. As a matter of fact, we're going to celebrate it now, because just as you saw in me, I see in you, and others will see in you, so that you can do the exact same thing that I am doing. Yes, cancer, diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer back in 2009. No symptoms, nothing that warned me that ugliness was growing inside of my body. Nothing, no symptoms, no irregularities, and no history of cancer in my family. So automatically off the back, it just didn't make sense to me. Okay, it just didn't make sense. So it was kind of hard to accept that. But I respect doctors. So I had to respect their diagnosis. But then I had to go to my chief physician for my prognosis, okay? And my prognosis was, you will live and not die, and this will never return again. So on that note, I said, well, why don't I just go ahead and live like my outcome? So whatever I was going through, I did not want to look like that, Dr. Pamela, because when I'm in the hospital and the enemy tried to come against my body, I already put on my face of what I've come through and not what I'm going through. So it is always important. I was having surgery one time, and I said, well, where they're doing the surgery surgery is below, not above. So I can have on my makeup, I can have on my lashes, and I can have my nail done. You know, back in the day, they would make you take all of that off. And that didn't make sense to me. I happened to have a doctor who agreed, who did my 5-hour surgery in 4-inch heels. And with her makeup on and her lashes, she said, leave my patient alone. She's operating out of her outcome and not what she's going through. I said, see, God will even line up the right doctors for you at that time. So I'm a believer in that. So listen, I came through that knowing, yes, I had the surgeries. Again, like I said, I respected the doctors for their diagnosis. I wasn't in denial that what they diagnosed me with was a possibility, but I was more in faith on what my prognosis was going to be, and that was to live. Of course, I went through 6 months of grueling chemo treatments. Yes, the worst pain that I had ever experienced in my life. But you know what? I kept fighting. Every day that I was weak, I said, I am strong. Every time that the enemy would want me to lay back flat on my back, I would rise up. It didn't matter. Then I knew the power of praise. I knew the power of making sure that I gave praise to the right one. So let me tell you, the Lord had to show me that when I was on my bed of affliction. I said, how is praise my deliverance? I don't get that. You know, he said, yes, you know, he said, I want you to write down the word praise. And then I wrote it down. I said, okay, I got it. What's that? He said, then I want you to take the P off of praise. And what do you have? I had raise. And then I rose up out of that bed. He said, then I want you to take the A out of raise. And what do you have? I said, I have rise. And then I stood up on my feet. And then I said, oh my goodness. He said, I want you to take the R off of rise and the E off of rise. And what do you have? I said, is. Praise is my deliverance. And I ran around that house. So let me tell you, I do not care what man has to say. You better learn to stand on your faith. So that was that. So that's my ministry part of me. I am also now the caring leader. Okay, yes. Jesus cared about us. I care about others. One of the things that I saw suffering in the marketplace, in the workplace, was caring leaders. Okay, employees are leaving the job like crazy. You know, we know that there's a great exodus that is happening in the world. And we know that when we stop and we talk to employees, they will say, if only my leader cared, if only I can be under your leadership. I see how you care. How do you have such high producing teams? How does your team have such healthy, you know, a healthy persona? They're healthy. They do the work and they don't complain. And, you know, they work hard, and you guys are number one in so many areas. We've even won awards for it. And then I had to ask them, well, what is it? They say, you care. And I'm a firm believer, if you care for those in your care, they will take care of everything else. Because at the end of the day, people do not care how much you know until you know till they know how much you care. You've heard that old adage, and it is so true. So what I do with iC.A.R.E leadership, I walk alongside of those emerging leaders to assist them in maximizing their leadership influence so that they can care, cultivate authentic relationships to empower. But it starts with self. Not only that, I walk alongside of them in their self-care success, because how many of you know that self-care for leaders is not selfish? It is necessary. So I always tell leaders to please fill your cup and you serve others from your overflow, because a depleted cup, you have nothing to give. So I want them to know it is okay to keep yourself front and centered. It is okay for you to take the time to make sure that you are being fed, that you are making sure that you are strong so that you can be with that team and help walk alongside of them. There is nothing more that I love doing than empowering people every single day. I look for leaders every day to see how much more I can help pour into them and to help them grow to their next greatness. And I am so thankful to say I have leaders sitting at the leadership table all around the world. One of the things that I knew, that once I got to the table of decision in the level of leadership that I had advanced to, I realized the power of the table. And I am one of those ones who love to bring the voice of those who do not have a voice at the table. I'm your voice at the table. I promise you I am. I'm going to make sure that not only everything works for the people who are doing the work, but also for those of us who have to give the direction to do the work. And all it means is caring enough to get the buy-in from your employees. Oh, there's so much more, because we want to make sure we are transforming and humanizing the employment experience, head, hands, and heart. You can't keep reaching for their intellectual property, okay, and the work that they do if you're not trying to touch the heart, leaders. We are on a mission to make sure that we bring compassionate caring to the corporate culture. That's what iC.A.R.E leadership is all about. And I am your leadership executive transformational coach that'll help you get there. Back to you, Dr. Pamela.
You are amazing, and you absolutely embody that, all of that, the servant leadership, the iC.A.R.E leadership, and you are a beacon of hope. And one thing that I did want to ask you to tell, because not everybody knows, and if they do, they haven't heard you tell the story. But you spoke at the, where was it? The U of
Oh my goodness. Yes, I had the wonderful opportunity of last March, actually, it'll be almost a year, where I was asked to be on a panel for the United Nations Women's Conference. I was so excited to receive that honor. And then I said, the United Nations, like people all over the world. And there'll be, so the person who organized this particular session, she said, absolutely, Lisa. And this is the thing. She knew she could call on me because she knew I would be ready. I was asked almost a day, I think a day or two, a day and a half I had to prepare, but I didn't have to prepare because I stayed ready. I was always told, when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. She knew that and trusted that. And there I was on a panel with people from all over the world, leaders from all over the world, heads of states from all over the world. And here I was offering my voice. So I tell you, you have a story, and whatever it is that you have to share, get it out there. You have these wonderful visionaries right here with Dr. Deborah and Dr. Pamela, who will even help you get that story in a book so that you can be invited on international and global stages, such as the United Nations Women's Conference. I'm looking forward to doing that again.
That was amazing. And I love the fact that you said yes.
Yes.
Not everybody called upon, like, okay, you have to be ready in what, was it 24 hours? Did
It
you
was
say?
about 24 hours. Yeah, it's about 27 altogether, right?
So you had to trust in
Yes.
yourself and in God within, and that trusting that process, this stage was meant for you, even though you didn't know about it until 27 hours before you stepped
Yes.
on it, so to say. And you said yes and showed up and gave your all. And that comes back to everything that you embody, and coming back to that Rocky Award.
Oh, thank
So
you
much, Dr. Lisa. I love you so much. You are a blessing beyond a blessing.
so much. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I certainly appreciate you.
And I appreciate you. Love you so much.
Love you too.
This has been so amazing, and we're not done yet. Delasber, come on up. Look at this queen. Look at her. Wow. The Heart of Purpose Award. Now, this was a no-brainer, okay? If you know Delasber at all, then you know that her heart is focused on purpose. This is a woman that has been through a tremendous rocky road the last couple of years. And that's her story to tell, not mine. But in the process of this rocky road, that not Rocky Award, but this rocky, tumultuous road that she's been on, she has kept her purpose. She has focused on it. She doesn't have just one nonprofit, she has two. And she has kept them going. I see these video clips of her speaking here and there. We have conversations from time to time that are on WhatsApp or Messenger. You don't quit. You keep pushing forward with your mission, and your mission is beautiful, and your heart of purpose is so apparent in your mission. And when we highlighted your nonprofits on with my platform. When we highlighted those for a month, it was so fun to get the details of exactly what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it. And this is your heart, and it's like out there in front of everybody. And to me, it, I mean, it was a no-brainer because it came down from heaven. But yes, Delasber, the heart of purpose, this woman that is pushing out her mission no matter what. Reminds me a little bit of this story in the Bible with this guy named Peter, and Jesus says, come on out and walk on the water, even though there was a storm all around. A lot of times we'll be like, oh, but Peter sank. Let's not even do that, because as far as I know, nobody here's walked on the water. I'm not talking about frozen ice. I'm talking about walking on the water in the middle of a storm. And that is how I see you, Delasber. You just keep going. So come on up, take your liberty, and tell everybody your story. And make sure you tell us all about your nonprofits and how we can get involved and support your vision.
Good evening. First of all, let me say, I cannot believe I have to come behind those two. Okay. I am Delasber Griffin Sanders, and I sometimes like to introduce myself as mother because that's the most important thing in my life, I think. But tonight I have to say I most definitely am a very simple woman who chose to make a difference in the world of moms dealing with so many different tragic situations. And although we may not see them as tragic, when we're in the midst of them, they're tragic.
Yeah.
Imagine wanting to connect with someone, but nothing that you do makes that connection. You have a person that you want to talk to or you want to become friends with, and nothing you do, you try everything in the world to get that person to like you, to get that person to acknowledge that you're there, to get that person to take one glimpse your direction, and nothing that you do works. That person acts like you don't exist. Think about how you feel. Well, now think about it and see that person as your child. That's where I was. I was a teacher, and I taught for 15 years in an educational system that they thought was falling apart, and I was able to pull children from a first grade reading level to a seventh grade reading level in a year. That was my passion. That was my heart. That was my soul. I did it, quote unquote, in my sleep with children that we were really worried if they had knives on them in the classroom, but not in mine. I didn't worry about that because I knew those children. And imagine becoming 41 and not having any children of your own. And all of a sudden, you get the chance to be somebody's mother. That was my only goal in life. I didn't want to do anything but be somebody's mama because I wanted somebody to love me. And I wanted to prove as an adopted child that I could break the cycle of giving up children because I was going to keep my baby. And I got this child, and she was perfect in all eyes. She was beautiful. And I am biased, but she was mine, okay? And she went fine until she was 11 months old. And then all of a sudden, the spark left her eyes. And she didn't deal with me anymore. And she didn't care that I existed, and she didn't want to have anything to do with me. She wanted to be in her room by herself playing with her iPad. Mommy didn't exist anymore. Daddy didn't exist anymore. The only thing that existed was an iPad. That was the only thing she cared about. I never got to hear the word mama. I was a 6th through 8th grade language arts teacher. I made my living talking to children who could talk back to me. And I was given this child who could not talk to me. I was angry. Actually, I think the word might be livid at God, because how dare you give me this child when I've done everything I can to build up other children, and you give me one I can't do anything with. My child had nothing to do with me. I couldn't connect no matter what I did. And I found solace in, I love to paint. I love the arts. And one day I was painting, and my daughter, Amory, was about 4 years old. And she walked up to me, and I had paints on the table, and she reached in the paints and she started smearing paint on my table. And of course, me being the mommy that I am, that does not want anything messed up, I'm about to lose my dog. I'm like, wait a minute, no. And I said, oh, wait, she's connecting with me. Leave her alone. So I let her smear paint all over the table. And then I realized I wasn't connecting with her because I wasn't going where she was. I was trying to pull her where I was. And she had no interest in what I had interest in. So I had to learn that if I just let her do what she did and I step into her world every few minutes, she would start connecting to me. I went through trouble. I went through a time when I did not get out of the bed because I was so devastated that I had this child that was broken, because that's what I saw. I saw a broken child. I didn't comb her hair. And if anyone has seen my child, she needed her hair combed because it was a lot of it. I didn't comb it. I sent her to school every day, and the teacher combed her hair. The teachers took care of my child for me because I couldn't. I was lost in desperation of not getting what I thought I wanted and what I thought I needed. And one day, y'all, I didn't like people. I didn't like talking to people, and especially adults. I love children, but adults, I didn't like them. And my husband went in this building and saw this mom crying. And he came out and he said, I told this mama she needs to come talk to you. And I looked at him like, what the? And all of a sudden, this woman's walking out talking to me. And I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta talk to her. Okay, Delasber, put on your face and suck it up. And, and I started talking to her, and I realized there were more moms like me who were deep down in that depression, and they needed pulling out because it can get bad. The only reason that I didn't kill myself was because I realized that there would be a possibility that my child would not go with me and she would be left here to live this life. I knew that feeling. And I was looking at these moms every day, and they were feeling the same thing. So I started No Greater Love. And I started Amory's journey because it was Amory's journey that brought me where I needed to be. And when I first found out she was autistic, I asked my aunt, because my aunt said she knew something was wrong with me. And I said, have you heard that she's autistic? She's not going to talk. She's not going to be able to do anything for herself. She's not going to be. And she said, what I heard was, I prayed to God, and God said, she will be a leader of her people. Now, Delasber, I don't know who her people are, and I don't know where she's going to lead them. But what I know is she will lead them. About a year ago, I realized that her people was me. Her job was to lead me where he needed me to go and where he needed me to be. My baby has only spoken 3 times in her life. The first time she spoke, she was 6 years old, and she said, I have the key. The next time she spoke, she was 9, and she said, Mama. The next time she spoke, she was responding to someone, and she was 10 years old, and she said, I believe God. Now, when my baby said, I have the key, I thought that was the sentence. But last year, I realized the sentence took from 6 to 10 to get out. But the sentence was, I have the key, Mama. I believe God. And from that moment, I realized that the person she had to lead was me. And I had to truly take the key that she had, which was believing in God, that I'm going to tell you, I had not even taught her about, because I decided she couldn't learn about it. But somebody had taught her about it. And I believe it was God himself who taught her, I believe God. No greater love was built out of love for my baby. My husband named it No Greater Love because when she was born, I sung the song, I never knew love like this before. And he said, there's no greater love than a mama has for her baby. No greater love. And now we continue no greater love for his legacy because God took him home last year. And because he took him home, I was forced to truly do what God intended for me to do all along, because I was allowed to sit and handle and ride his coattail and just let him glide me along. But when he took my husband and he took my best friend and he took my mother, all within a month's time, I had to learn to stand and connect with him and actually use the key that my daughter gave me, which was, I have the key, Mama. I believe God. My question is, are you believing God? And if you are, what are you believing him for? Because I will tell you, if you ask him for something, he will do it. You might not like how he does it, but he will do it. So when you ask, know that the answer you get might not be quite what you wanted. It might be a gift that he's giving you and you want to give that gift back, but he's given you the gift. How are you going to use that gift?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Delasper, you don't have to ever be concerned about following anybody ever, okay? That's a drop the mic moment, my sister. Wow. Wow. You have the key. That's a great question. Do you know out there if you got the key? What a great way to end this live together. You have the key. And your daughter was pouring that into you for so many years. And now you are out telling the world. Delasper, tell everybody just a little bit about how they hook up with you and find out more about your nonprofits, please.
Well, it's pretty simple. I am A.R.E's journey across the board. Uh, she is my baby. It is A.R.E. My father's name was Amos, and my husband named her after my father. It is AMOREESJOURNEY. We are now running a fundraiser for the memory of my husband, who was an avid New Orleans Saints fan. We are raffling off a New Orleans Saints bowling kit. At least that's what I called it, because it's a bowling ball, a New Orleans Saints bowling ball, a New Orleans Saints bowling bag, a New Orleans Saints bowling towel. And the tickets are $5. If you look on my page, you can see the flyer about it. Please, 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 please get a ticket. If you purchased $100 in tickets, you'll get a letter from my 501c3 for the IRS, because you know they love donations, and you guys love to tell them that you donated, and I appreciate that. But what I want you to know is all the funds that are raised will be used to take moms for a retreat in New Orleans. Last year we did Destin, Florida, but this year we decided that in honor of my husband, we're going to bring the moms to my home, and we're going to teach them what he loved about New Orleans. So in November, we're going to take them to New Orleans. We are trying our best to raise the funds so that all they will have to do is get themselves there. And we've even offered it. It's going to be in a hotel this year. So if they want to bring their families, they can bring them, and everybody can have a little vacation on No Greater Love. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. That is so beautiful. And I just want to point to everybody and say it's in the comments, the name that we were talking about, Emery's Journey. And also Nicole has put in the site as well, the .org, or so you can go there and check it out yourself. This is beautiful. And if there's anything that I can do to help you with this women's event coming up in New Orleans, whatever I can do, you just reach out. I'm sure the ladies here sharing the stage with you tonight would say the same thing. However we can be a blessing and help those moms, we want to do that. And I know that everybody out there is like, okay, how can I plug in? You know, I just want to say this, when it comes to nonprofits, and after having nonprofits throughout my whole adult life, people might think, well, if I can't give $1,000, I don't really need to give. Do you understand that everybody giving $1 or everybody giving $5, it adds up? And actually, those $5 gifts usually end up outweighing the $1,000 gift. So whatever you can sew in, and now I just also want to qualify. Delasber didn't know I was going to do that. Okay, she wasn't going, well, you're going to plug my nonprofit, right, Dr.
No.
She had no idea. This is just what I want to do. I feel led to do this, that people that are watching live or later, and we're all going to be sharing this. So you're going to, if you're not watching it live, you're going to see it later, because one of these beauty queens are going to share it with you. And you can go ahead and go to that site, and you can log in there, and you can make a donation, and understand that when we give, we want to put it in good soil. And this woman here, it's really good soil, because she's walked through and she's come out on the other side. She's come out of the oven and she doesn't even smell like smoke. She came out of the fiery furnace and she doesn't smell like smoke, but she has learned the lessons, and now she's learning how to be a blessing to so many that are walking the path. She might be in front of it a little bit from some of them, but she's teaching them the way. And it's because when life could dealt you what you could have considered to be a lemon, you were willing to let it become lemonade, and then you did the work. Delasber, you are a rock star, and your heart of purpose, bum, 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 beat, 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 beat. It is beautiful, and I'm so glad to know you. Thank you for being here and sharing your story, my friend.
Thank you, love.
Thank
Thank
you. And you made me cry. You made me cry. And it was close to being an ugly cry there, I tell you, because I was like, oh. I want to thank you, ladies, for all being here. And I want to thank everybody that is watching live or later. All of these beautiful comments, we will all make sure we go back in there and that we comment on your comments. And if you'll do me a favor, everybody, could you share this with someone? Because I want these awardees to have their message just like, let's broadcast it. Hear ye, hear ye. Let's herald it to the masses. They have earned it because they've done the work. These are experts. They have reached a mastery in an area of their life, and they can help you, me, and so many others. So one more time, you are here on purpose, with a purpose. By what? Design, not by default. Do like these queens. Go out there and be the salt and the light everywhere you go. We'll see you later. Bye.